meal or your next vacation? Will you always act in kindness and for the greater good of humanity? Will you deal honestly with others? Will you be a peacemaker? And will you do all of the above with the courage of your convictions, even in the face of persecution? There's a great effort remaining here in the good old US of A. The Roman legions of old have been replaced by corrupt and greedy Wall Street dealmakers, by the Defense Department establishment with their unassailable budgets of war, by big oil who can damage our environment and still reap mega profits. And as our former President Paul Utz noted in his talk 3 weeks ago, by multinational food corporations who are buying our democracy. Bob Herbert, the columnist for the New York Times, recently wrote his last column. He said he's off to expand his efforts as an advocate for the poor and others struggling in our society. He cited the following statistics in that column. 5% of our population, of our country, owns 63.5% of the wealth. 80% of the population owns only 12.5%. Now, again, I'm obsessive about numbers, and I did a little calculation. That's basically a ratio of 85 to 1, which says that if the average capacity of 80%, the lower 80% of this country, can afford $10,000 for education, the top 5% can afford $850,000 for education. If the bottom 80% can afford $10,000 for a home or an apartment, the top 5% can afford $850,000. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. It's not much better than what Palestine was way back when. He goes on, at 14 million Americans are without jobs. There is a lot of work to do. He goes on to say that overwhelming imbalances in wealth and income inevitably result in enormous imbalances of political power. True today, right? So the corporations and the very wealthy continue to do well, he says. The employment crisis never gets addressed, and the wars never end. We, this congregation, needs to send our message of peace and love outside the walls of this building, outside our own backyard, and into our neighborhood and our community. I remember Paul saying that in his talk a few weeks ago. I was really taken by that. It's a very good point. And a good place to begin that effort, if I might say, is with our Social Justice Committee. You heard of that, didn't you? I talked to Angela about that. I said, we have 115 members of this congregation. How many people are really, really active in social justice? She said, maybe 8. 115 people. 8 people active? I said to Angela, is there some way we can get out into the community more? She says, yeah, get me some help. Because all too often when you see community things, when we set up a table someplace, who's there? Angela and Kyle. Come on, people. We have to do more. You've heard the expression, think globally, act locally. Well, Angela needs her hand with her projects. How about after this today, somebody goes up there and says, I'll help you with the butterfly garden for the students at Atlantic City High School. I'll give you a hand with the veggie garden and clothesline at the Habitat for Humanity that you're doing. I'll give you a hand with the native plant sale so we can raise some funds. If you're not participating, then why not start now? As Paulette said, I hate to keep quoting you, Paul, but it was a great talk. As Paulette said, peace and love are more effective in bringing about change than Tomahawk cruise missiles. Shalom. Salam. Peace be with you.